Hey guys, so many of you have been asking us for the sourdough brioche recipe, and here it is. So today we'll show you how to make this deliciously fluffy sourdough brioche. It took us quite a few attempts as we really wanted to kind of give you a simple and straightforward recipe. Hope you enjoy it. What you're going to need is 500 grams of bread flour, 200 grams of active starter, 120 grams of whole milk, 115 grams of unsalted butter, 50 grams of sugar, 9 grams of salt, 3 eggs, and then just 1 egg for later to do the egg wash. I'm going to warm the milk with the butter so that it melts. You can do it in the microwave for a couple of seconds or on the stove. Okay, so the butter is now fully dissolved in the milk, so we're going to mix this with the salt and the sugar. Add the 3 eggs and whisk them in. This is how much our starter rose overnight. We're going to be using 200 grams of this. So our starter passed the float test. Just whisk it in a little bit. And now we're going to add the 500 grams of bread flour. And mix it all in. Mix it all until it's evenly combined and you don't see any more dried bits. Cover it with a damp cloth and leave it for an hour. Put it on the counter and we're going to slap and fold about 10 times. Now we're just going to let it rest for about 10 minutes. We'll now do about 20 stretch and folds. So just go on all the sides, stretch it out and fold it towards the center. Okay, now we'll turn it and just make it into a rough ball. Like that. Oil your bowl. And we'll put the dough in there. Now we're going to cover it with a damp cloth and do the bulk rice. It will take about 2 hours 40 minutes. It will be slightly longer than you're used to if you're making normal bread. So it's been 2 hours 50 minutes and it's ready now. So you can see it's pretty much doubled in size. So I'm going to use a bread tin. This one is 24 by 14 centimeters, and I'm just going to butter it all up. Tip it on the counter. We're just going to weigh the dough so that then we can divide it into 4 equal pieces. Okay, so I'm going to divide it into 4 pieces. So we're going to shape them into rough balls I'm just stretching them out from the sides and into the center, and then tighten it up a little bit like that. Now we're going to place them in the tin. So you have to really squish them in like that. Alternatively, you can also make them into buns or rolls if you divide it into 10 equal buns. Oil some cling film and loosely place it on top. We're going to cover it and let it proof for about 2 hours. Preheat your oven at 200 degrees about 15 minutes before the 2 hours is up. It's been 2 hours, and as you can see, it has risen to the brim of the tin. I'm going to add a splash of water to an egg and whisk it. And we're going to do an egg wash. Make sure it's fully covered with the egg. Put boiling water on a tray. Put the boiling water on the bottom, and the loaf goes in the middle. And we're going to bake it for 30 minutes with the water in there. 30 minutes, and then 10 minutes without the water. Take the water out, and we're going to cover the bread with foil for the rest. Cover it and put it back for 10 minutes. Alright, and we're going to leave it on the tin for about 10 minutes before transferring it to the cooling rack. Of course, if you're making the buns, you want to put them on a baking tray, and they will take about 20 to 25 minutes to bake at 200 degrees. We'll leave it on the cooling rack to cool down completely before cutting into it. The reason why is because it will become very gummy, it won't be fluffy. So you really do need to let it cool down. I know it's hard, but it's got to be done.